Hey, Justin Humphreys here. Today is day 21 of the 90-day video challenge. We are on week 3 full weeks of video every single day. So I'm pumped about this. This is awesome. I'm going to keep going, obviously, for 90 days. But today I wanted to share something with you. This is for the Sunday Post. And this is something I read in Psycho-Cybernetics. I think I mentioned this book before. Read this if you haven't already. But I was reading this book, and I read this phrase, and then it reminded me of something in the scriptures that I want to relate, and it just clicked for me, and so I wanted to share it with you guys. And this is what I read. It's talking about happiness, and I know I mentioned before, and if you know anything about how it works, basically, happiness is a decision. You know, so often we think of happiness as being a result of other things going on around us. You know, I'll be happy if I get that job, or I'll be happy if this just works out, or whatever it may be. And yet, happiness is just simply us deciding that we're going to be happy. It could be pouring rain outside, and we could be happy. It could be the worst day ever, right? We lost our job, we had whatever happened, and we can still be happy, okay? We decide that we're going to be happy. Now, granted, we're not going to be happy 100% of the time, and we're not meant to be as human beings. We're meant to feel different emotion. But the great majority of the time we can be happy. We can decide to be happy. And so that's enough about that. But the quote here relates to happiness. And this is what it said. It's actually an old Dutch proverb that he's taking this from. And it says, "Happy people are never wicked." And so, so it says, happy people are never wicked. I thought that was kind of cool. If you're happy, how can you sin? Right? If you're happy, you're living life, you're enjoying everything, how can you sin? It's cool. It's a great idea. So I thought, okay. But I started thinking about that because I never heard that before, this old Dutch proverb. And it reminded me of a scripture. And the scripture is this. And I should have looked it up for you, but I just know it off the top of my head. I should have looked it up, but that is this. Wickedness never was happiness. Okay? Wickedness never was happiness. And I'll tell you, the way I always looked at this scripture was that if we're wicked, we can't be happy. There's no way to do good, to do wrong, and feel right about it. We have this conscience, right? And it tells us when we do something wrong. We know when we do something wrong that it's wrong. Okay? So we can't feel good about it. That's what it's all about. That's how the conscience works. That's why we have it. So that we know when we're being wicked, we know when we're sinning. Okay, I'm not talking about any grievous things here, but anytime you mess up, because we're not perfect, that you can't be happy in sin. Okay, let me say it that way. Now, so this is kind of the process going through my mind here. So I thought, okay, so wickedness does not equal happiness. Okay, that's how I've always thought about it. Just makes sense. Okay, but then I started thinking after this quote and thinking about how happiness is a choice that we make. And I thought, okay, so that means if wickedness cannot be happiness, that I guess, let me say it this way. If you are wicked, you are not happy. Right? Or you cannot be happy. Okay? So if wicked cannot be... So let's switch these around, right? If it's an equal sign or a not equal sign, you can switch them, right? That's algebra. Okay? So happiness, let me say it this way. If you are happy, then you cannot be... cannot be wicked. If you are happy. Okay, I summed it up there. But isn't that exactly what the Dutch proverb says? If you're happy, you cannot be wicked. Happy people are never wicked. So for me, I guess the reason it just stuck out to me was that this Dutch proverb is basically scripture. And I love that. I love truth no matter where it is. Truth is truth no matter where you find it. And this is truth. Happy people are never wicked. Wickedness never was happiness. That is the same to me now as saying that if you're happy you can't be wicked. It's the same as saying this. So this equals this. I just thought that was the coolest thing. So I hope that makes sense to you. And I don't know if you get a kick out of it like I do, but anytime I can relate something to Scripture, to something that I know is true, right, I get excited about it. And so that's what I did with this. And all it took was just switching those around. If you're happy, you're not going to sin. Because you're happy, you're living life, you're doing good, and you're not going to sin, right? And it just goes to show that that is true. One other quick note, and this again was from the reading, but the best way to be happy is to be unselfish. So if you want to be happy, you make that decision to be happy. You have to decide to just be happy in your life. But the best way to get that in your life is to be unselfish, to think about other people, to serve other people, to go out and be a blessing to someone else. And so that's it for today, and that's my little Sunday sermon for you. But happy people are never wicked, okay? And wickedness never was happiness. Remember those things, and go out there, choose to be happy, and make a big difference. Talk to you tomorrow.